Hi guys, and welcome to episode 6 of Life on the Outside. Today I've got a very special guest with me, a guy that I have so much respect for, who is one of my favorite people inside the house, Mr. Simon Hurley. Thank you so much for joining me, mate.
No problem at all, mate. Thank you for asking me along.
Yeah, no, well, inside the house, we had a lot of experiences together. Like in the short period I was there, but I was going to say you had so much more exposure to that kind of environment, that kind of lifestyle. What's it like for you now that you've been outside of the house for a little while, and you're outside in the real world, not sort of sheltered by that environment? How have you handled just continuing on with the process outside by yourself?
The initial shock when you first get out of the house, or when I first got out of the house, was incredible. Trying to continue, obviously lose more weight, and trying to fit everything in.
Yeah, I was going to say handling a full-time job.
Yeah.
Getting back into
straight back to work. It was a week later that I was back at a full-time job, and trying to fit in training and obviously my kids and life and fun and training, and trying to fit all of that in when I got out was ridiculous. It took a while, but it's just a case of being a good time manager, and you set aside those times, and when you do it, you honour those commitments. You say, that's when I'm going to be at work, that's when I'm going to be at training, and you just do it.
I was going to say, because like in my position where I just have my work to take care of, you had your work, your kids, you had a whole bunch of family responsibilities as well. Like I'm still pretty young, and I've got it pretty light in regards to the responsibility side of things. So what's it like handling those responsibilities as well as just taking responsibility for yourself at the same time?
Well, yeah. Luckily I've got a supportive family. The kids were incredible. They all said how proud they were of me, and and to get that from teenage boys, that's pretty cool.
That's big.
The family were always supportive, and they little bit of tenterhooks to start off with. Oh, can we eat that? Can we do that? Lots of people asking for advice. So many people after your time to ask questions of what it was like,
Absolutely.
And trying to fit all of that in, and obviously respecting the fact that these people have been on the journey with me as well, even if it was just watching the TV screen. They all knew me beforehand. Even the randoms that come up and say good day and say fantastic, good effort. Just to share a bit of time with them, it did become crazy, but hey, it's all part of the journey, and as I said, time management, you get it right.
That's it. That's the biggest key.
That's
absolutely. I remember when I was initially going through the process of learning how to trust my family with that information, learning how to be open and vulnerable with my family. That was probably one of the most difficult things for me. But I'd imagine being a parent and trying to do that with your teenage kids would have been paramount.
Everyone was a little bit panicky and a little bit sort of, can we have that in front of them? Can we eat that in front of them? Can we do that? Can we say this? Can we, can we walk past the room with the chocolate biscuits and things like that? What I had to do to some people is say, just stop. It's my responsibility to continue on my journey. It's your responsibility to continue with what you're doing.
That's good. So
I don't ever want to hear any of you say, oh, I'm just not going to do that because you're here. No. If you want to have those chocolate biscuits, you have those chocolate biscuits whether I'm there or not. Exactly. It's my choice to then sit back and look at you eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe dream that I wish that I had them, but it's my journey and my responsibility. You just do what you want.
Fantastic. Excellent. From a training standpoint, being involved with the commando and having him push you day after day, and taking you to the end of your abilities and end of your mind, really sometimes. What's it like now that you're in a process where you're responsible for yourself, responsible for your own training? How do you find yourself getting back to that place, like where commando was pushing you, and how are you finding it yourself to getting yourself to that place?
Yeah, being in those situations where you're with a personal trainer, especially one like Commando, that's pushing you to the point where I honestly didn't think I had any more. And he knew, and that's what a personal trainer will do. They'll get you to the point where, or get me to my point where my brain is thinking, I can't push any further. And he knew, and I have to get through my head that I know that I can do more. And that's what I strive for with all of my training, even now, is I know I get to a point where I think, surely I can't go anymore. Then I hear Commando's voice, get moving, and I push some more.
That's awesome.
It doesn't matter what I try, however, and I have to accept this, is that I will never push myself as far as what Commando would push me. And anyone who's training out there with a trainer will know that they will always push them harder, or push you harder than where you think you can go.
Definitely.
You'll get close training on your own, but you'll never get as close as what you do when you've got the trainer sitting next to you. Accept it. As long as you get as close as possible, mate, you're fine.
Exactly right. Just as long as you know, like that's the biggest thing for me, is like when I'm training, I know, just as long as I know that I've done what I've recognized from what, you know, my trainers have told me and from what my trainers have put me through, if I can recognize that I'm relatively close to that and just feel like as if I've done what I need to do, you know, and it's at that benchmark for me where I know, like, you know, if I haven't gotten to the point of failure and I'm feeling, you know, completely and utterly ready to go still, I was like, you know, you got more to do, you got to do this, you know, you got right back in the gym and do it, you know, like that's the mentality for me now, is not finishing until I know I'm done.
Yeah, those training sessions that I had with Commando and later with Shannon, I would walk away from those shaking. Because my body was totally spent. It was so hard just to even walk and keep my legs straight because I was spent. And I do try and strive for those feelings when I finish my own training sessions now. I mean, I don't have a personal trainer at the moment. I'll admit that now. I don't. I train on my own and I'm pushing myself hard. But I try and, if I walk away from one of my training sessions and I've got jelly legs or I'm shaking or my arms are, you know, I know I've done it.
That's exactly right. And I like what you said there when you say when I've come back from one of my training sessions, because that's ultimately that's what it is. It's when you're in a position where you either can't afford or don't have the means to get a personal trainer, they really do need to become your training sessions. They need to become what you know you can push yourself to do. And that's, right on the ball there, man. That's Simon's got it. Exactly. Cool. All right, so last question. If there's one piece of advice that you could give to anyone out there that's trying to lose weight and are not dealing with it very well psychologically, what was the one piece of advice that you could give them to help them through the process?
Look, the one piece of advice that I could ever give anyone is to trust yourself. Trust yourself to know that the decisions you're making to actually do something about your fitness, your mental strength is the right thing. No matter what people say, whether they put you down, whether they say, you shouldn't be doing that or anything like that, you trust yourself. And of course you trust yourself to the point where you know if something doesn't feel right, stop it, because it's not right. You have to trust yourself. Trust you're doing the right thing and trust you know when you get there.
Excellent. Fantastic. Words of advice I could definitely live by, and it's something that I completely and utterly agree with. Like it's one thing to hear from other people what you can and cannot do and what they think is right for you, but at the same time it's another thing to sort of be able to, you know, put your own faith in yourself and being able to use that as your marker point for what you need to do for your life and what you need to do in this process, because you know you better than anyone else. Easy as that. Well, thank you so much, Simon. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this for me, and all the best for the future, man. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you relatively soon. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to tell me what I have to say now because I've forgotten again.
That's all good. That's all right. You know how I finish every episode with one line. All right, he's gonna help me with this. Okay, so the line is, "You can, and you're not alone."
That's
so,
it. So just remember, guys, you can.